Unit 2, Lesson 1, Math. Estimating with decimals, then adding or subtracting. That's it. We already know how to estimate. Now we're going to do that to help us add and subtract. So, 27 and 21/100ths. And then 48 and 73/100ths. Well, let's take the 27 and 21/100ths first. Let's round that to the nearest whole number. If we did that, we would have to look here. And remember, this tells us whether we keep the 7 or bring it up to an 8. Now remember my vertical number line? I love using that. What if I had a 0 and 10? And I placed that 2 somewhere in between? Well, if this were the middle point of 5, that 2 would be somewhere down here, really close to the 0. So we keep it at 7. This is really close to just 0/10ths. All right, so we can then show this as about 27. And for the 48 and 73/100ths, well, that's 7. We want to round to the nearest ones place again. That's 7 in our vertical number line. 0, 10, and here's 5 in the middle. That 7 would be right about there. Much closer to the 10 than to 0. Much closer. So we would want to round that up. Push it up to 49. Now, what should we do? Should we add it? Or should we subtract it? It's your choice, really. You could do either one. I say we add 9 and 7. Well, that makes 16. 2 and 4. That makes 6. Plus 1 is 7. About 76. Now, we can also round to different values. For example, we could round to the nearest 10 instead. And that might help us to arrive at a similar answer. Remember, our answer earlier was at 76 when we rounded to the nearest whole number. So, if I were to round to the nearest 10 here, well, I wouldn't use the decimals. They're there, but I wouldn't use them. I would look at the ones place. This 7 ones, well, on my vertical number line, is pretty close to, there's 5 in the middle, pretty close to 10 again. Right? Much closer to 10, so I would bump that up to 3 for 30. 27 and 21/100ths is about, not just 3, because that would have, say, 3 ones, but if we round to the nearest 10, it would be 30. Right? Now you're going to realize this becomes a little bit more easy to add or subtract when we're done, because we're just doing 10s. Right? Now, for this one down here, we've got 8. So that's even closer to 10 than 7, a little bit closer. So it's definitely going to be rounded up to 5 or 50. Now, we can add 10s easily together. We can do it mentally. 5 10s plus 3 10s is 8 10s for a final answer of 80. Now, is that really close to 76? Yeah, that's pretty close. That's only 4 away. So some people like to call this, when we round a little differently, to make it easier to add or subtract in the end. Some people call that compatible numbers. Using compatible numbers means using numbers that are easy to work with. But really, all we've done is rounded to the nearest 10. So that's going to end our new style of math video here. Now, when you go to work on your assignment for this, it'll be labeled Unit 2, Lesson 1. All you need to remember is, I know how to estimate. I know how to round to the nearest whole number. I know how to round to the nearest tenth. I know how to round to the nearest 10. And then the next step is just adding and subtracting. So we're just like building onto what we already have been practicing. All right, so we're adding a little extra step. Okay, so do your best. I think you're going to really get this well. And I'll see you soon.